There was a time when the most powerful empire on earth was defeated. Not by an army, not by a rebellion, but by a small Irish village that simply stopped cooperating. No shots were fired. No buildings were burned. No speeches were shouted. There was only silence. This was Ireland in the late 19th century. The Great Famine was officially over, but its shadow still covered the land. Most Irish families did not own the fields. They worked. They rented them from landlords who often lived far away, sometimes in another country entirely. Miss a rent payment, and you didn't just lose your house. You lost your future. Eviction notices were nailed to doors. Cattle were seized. Homes were dismantled plank by plank while families watched. But something different began to grow in Ireland. Not hunger, not violence. Agreement. Across rural villages, neighbors quietly aligned with one another. Farmers, shopkeepers, laborers, people who had buried each other's children and shared each other's hunger. Inspired by movements like the Irish Land League and figures such as Michael DeWitt, communities realized something powerful. They didn't need to fight, they only needed to refuse. In one small village, a landlord's agent pushed too far. Rents were raised. Warnings were ignored. Evictions were carried out without mercy. So the village met. There were no chants, no threats, no torches. They made one simple decision. They would not touch him. The next morning, the agent woke up to something unfamiliar. No one worked his fields. No shop sold him food. No blacksmith shod his horse. No postman delivered his letters. Even the pub refused him service. He wasn't attacked. He wasn't shouted at. He was treated as if he didn't exist. Silence is unbearable. People can survive hatred. They can survive insults. They can survive threats. But being ignored by an entire community breaks something deeper. The agent wrote letters to Dublin, then to London. The British response was swift. Soldiers were sent. Armed men escorted workers into the fields. They protected a harvest that cost more to guard than it was worth. The British Empire had rifles. Ireland had neighbors. Eventually, the agent left. Not chased. Not dragged. Just gone. The village returned to normal. Fields were worked again. Bread was baked again. Pints were poured again. There were no celebrations. No victory songs. Just quiet satisfaction. The tactic spread across Ireland. Then across the world. A man's name became a word. To be boycotted. Here's the thing about Ireland. We don't always shout. We don't always fight. Sometimes we simply decide, together, that you no longer belong in the story. And once Ireland makes that decision, history follows.